Alphabet saying Eric Schmidt is stepping down from his executive chairman role to become a technical advisor to the company, this ending a 17-year senior leadership position at the internet giant. Joining us now on the transition, our Bloomberg Television editor-at-large, Cory Johnson. So what do you make of this?
Well, I remember when he got the job, and it was a really amazing thing to see these very young entrepreneurs with this new idea get one of the great people in Silicon Valley, one of the people who was very highly respected for what he did at Sun, who was very well known for what he did, I think it was Novell, the networking company, and really came with this knowledge of how enterprise software works so much, and was known for his mind in Silicon Valley. But it was a question: I was going to run a consumer-facing internet company. Of course, Google became one of the great companies in the history of the world, and a lot of that, and setting it on its direction, as much as it was the founders, it was Eric Schmidt deeply involved in that. Of course, he stepped to this executive chairman role, which was an executive chairman. He was very much involved in running the company, but as chairman, not CEO. Non-executive chairman is a very different job. It's essentially a board-level advisory role. Of course, his long-term history of the company suggests he'll still have an active role in the business, but non-executive chairman is very different than executive chairman and very different from CEO. But it's remarkable, just simply remarkable, what he's done in 17 years at Google.
So this from Larry Page saying, continuing his 17 years of service to the company, he will now be helping us as a technical advisor on science and technology issues. I'm incredibly excited about the progress of our companies are making and about the strong leaders who are driving that innovation. Presumably that's a reference to some of these other Alphabet companies like Verily and Calico and these efforts to cure death and create smart contact lenses.
Well, so think about how much Ruth Porat, also very much widely admired in the financial industry. Ruth comes into Google with the notion that she's going to pare down some of these things and try to make sense of some of the places that they're reaching and maybe limit some of the reaching in other different ways. Eric came into this company with these young founders with this goofy idea of letting smart people get high salaries and go off and explore things that had nothing to do with the core business, and yet turn that into a very successful business. I think one of the most interesting things about his long career in technology, before the 17 years he was here and after, was recognizing how the very latest developments in technology would be very pertinent in the near future in both enterprise and consumer-facing technologies, and the way these scientific developments might change the products available from Silicon Valley, and putting his company into the forefront of that.
So, I think the question remains, is there anything more to this story? Is he simply transitioning out because he's ready to transition out, or is there more?
Well, there have certainly been discussions of him going to all kinds of places. There's wonderful stuff in Scott Galloway's new book about when Scott Galloway was on the board of the New York Times. They said, we got to get rid of the kinds of CEOs we've had in the past and hire Eric Schmidt. Let's do that. And the board practically laughed him out of the boardroom. The notion that this guy is so plugged in and understands technology and the ways consumers interface with technology means there's a lot of opportunities available to him. He's also obviously been moving away from the sort of executive role at Google for a long time, with that move from CEO to, we broke that story sitting in this very same room.
I remember when that happened.
It probably wasn't, what was it, probably 6 years ago? It seems like yesterday. But
it was, I believe, in 2011.
No, it might have been, it was probably 2011 when we first started the show.
Page came in as CEO, and then it was in 2015 that he restructured and turned the company into Alphabet.
Yeah, so he's had a really remarkable career in Silicon Valley, and it's been interesting to watch these changes. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a very different change out of what he's got next. He's also been very, very involved in philanthropy in the Bay Area, and talking a lot about that in a very public face of philanthropy for many, many years. I wouldn't expect that to stop either.
Okay, Cory Johnson, our editor-at-large. Thanks for giving us some more context.